Hello there, and welcome to the show. I'm happy to present to you the full interview with Dr. Ritmo. Now, there is a little something before. This is, I think, the second time I had to do this. It's a trigger warning for depression, suicide, anger, bullying, and abuse. So, yeah. I hope that we can shed some light on some social issues that affect us. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope it brings some value. Thanks again for watching, and here we go with the interview.
All right.
How are you? Welcome.
Thank you.
For meeting up with me.
Thanks you for
It's a pleasure. We actually met by social media, right? It was just
Yeah, I believe so that I reached out to you because I found one of your songs, Hooked, actually.
yeah, hooked. It had a good launch. So maybe that's why you got to hear it, which I'm glad, because now we're talking. And we had a meeting before and we talked about certain things that we are passionate about. And music is one of the things that we're passionate about, but we're also passionate about mental health. And you launched a project on mental health and mental health awareness. Would you talk about what it is and what you do?
Yeah, it was because one of our friends committed suicide, actually. And it was a very hard situation, right? And we were like a group of mostly men, and we realized that men usually do not talk about what's happening inside them. Actually, our friend that killed himself had a lot of trouble, and I don't know. I guess he never could talk to people in a real way. I don't know. We really don't know. And suicide is a really dark topic, right? But anyway,
It went dark fast. Yeah.
Yeah, this led us create this men's circle, and we started talking about that, and so we did that project. We created some podcasts about first about suicide, about how we felt about that, you know and such, and then we extended that project to other sensitive topics as well, like your relationship with your parents and your family and such.
So maybe things like childhood trauma and stuff like that.
Yeah, things that people don't usually talk, especially at least in our experience with my friends. Men don't usually talk about these things. So it was a really cool space because you could see that people really wanted to do that, but it's like you don't feel safe sharing these things because you feel, I don't know, maybe they may bully you because you are showing feelings and such. It's really weird, but we get this condition. I don't know, but
It's weird because feelings are normal, right? And people are telling us or bullying us because we are showing our feelings.
Yeah, it is really weird.
It's like if I bully you for being human. It's weird because when people bully you maybe for expressing yourself, I mean, why is it so hard to mind your own fucking business? If you don't, if you're a man who doesn't want to share his emotions or feelings, okay, that's granted, right? But if some other man wants to do that, then shut the fuck up. Not everyone needs an opinion about everything, right? That's something that really angers me, that in all this mental health thing, because people get bullied about weirdest things, the most trivial of things.
I can see that bullying is like a coping mechanism somehow. It's like getting drunk, like I can see why you would do that. I'm not saying that it is okay or it's a good thing
Right.
to do,
You
but
mean, do you get the impulse in the context of, if I don't share my emotions, I get frustrated, and that frustration needs to go up somewhere. And then, unfortunately, there are people who fall victims to that frustration.
yeah, I think that I've been actually on both sides. Like at first, when I was little in school, I was really bullied because I am I always I'm sorry, I went Spanish mode. uh, um, I'm always being like a sensitive person, and so when I was a kid, it was really hard to control that, So I was like a crying kid. I cried really easily, and so people bullied me for that, like so hard that eventually I repressed myself. And so then when I was I don't know, like 18, 20, somehow something like that, I had the chance to become a bully in college, and I did it. And it was like it's my time to belong to the other side, like I can I don't know exactly why I did it, like I was young and it was an impulse, as you said. Kind of, like I
You
really
wanted to
wanted to.
see the other side, maybe. You wanted to be on
I
the other side of it, maybe.
Yeah, because you if you being bullied, you maybe you relate to this. You may feel like cast aside,
Yeah.
like if you were so weird that you don't fit anywhere, so you feel really lonely. And then if you get the chance to be in this group of bullies, or like you become popular somehow, it's like now this is my chance, and so you act exactly the opposite because you wanted to belong, at least thinking like
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah. And so how did that evolve for you, though? Like, when did you stop being on that side? What, did something happen that made you think, I'm gonna stop it? Or did you get in trouble?
It exploded in my face.
Oh, that's
I
really.
I guess you start building yourself into this thing, into this creature, right? And so this road led me to be very powerful, but very annoying, like I was that kind of person with strong arguments, but I wanted conflict. So
Oh, okay.
I was a space destroyer. I don't know how to say that, but everywhere where I went, I had something to say about, no, you are wrong. And I had such strong
Oh,
arguments, and that it was really hard for people to deal with me because I don't know. Uh, I guess it is because I'm smart and I have this background of science and such. So it was really hard to argue with me, and that led me to many unwanted problems that eventually exploded in my face in my work life.
oh.
So yeah.
See, that's interesting, because I've read about how, yes, actually being toxic like that can actually blow up in your face. And then when stuff in your life derails because of maybe impulse, or impulsive behaviors or impulsive decision making, then you end up creating little fires in
Yeah.
your life, and then suddenly you're like, oh shit, things on fire, how do I fix this? and so that's where you find maybe some people, maybe other people wouldn't say, okay, this is blown up in my face, I need to course correct myself. Something people will do that, but since you are smart, you did, like you said.
Yeah, but it was, to be honest, it was like a forced change. You know, like this was
Yeah.
like smoking all your life, and suddenly you get told like you have cancer, man. So, oh my god, I'm not gonna smoke like ever again. And it's something similar, like you get to some rock bottom.
Oh yeah.
So you're forced to change, and that happened to me in my. And it was, I was like a project manager here in Chile in a company, and a new manager came to my area, and he almost immediately didn't like me because I was so conflicting, you know, like, and I got this feedback like, if you don't change, you're fired. But the most alarming thing, it wasn't because I, you know, like I could find another job. It was something about that feedback that hurt me. Actually, it was the fact that they told me that people didn't want to talk to me because I was making them feel stupid. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They told me, they say something and I was making faces, and you know, they could tell immediately that I thought that they were stupid, so they felt stupid. You know, and so uh, that hurt me, and
Oh, I see.
and it made me like reevaluate, I think. And I started reading, and I think that was what triggered this change in my behavior, because I, you know, my core hasn't changed, but my outer behavior has changed a lot.
Oh, okay. So would you say that you still find it somewhat annoying to be around certain people or a lot of people? Is that something
No,
that's no? Okay.
no, I changed it completely. Like,
Oh, okay.
people who I met before that, I mean after that, some of them can't believe that I was like that before. Like my old friends, like they back up that, yeah, he was like that.
Oh
You know, like,
wow. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like, I don't know, but probably you won't tell it that I was like that before, because I am not like that anymore. So I changed.
Oh, especially I see you on the social media, and you're someone with patience, and you listen to people, and that is just it doesn't. You also don't seem conflicted. All these things, which is nice. So it's nice to see that but it's interesting because these things, we don't usually learn these things. We don't learn how to act around people unless it's shown to us. And I think I see that we're not really guided properly through life. Would you, since working with these topics, you know, suicide, and so like things like depression linked with suicide often, and I wonder, the people in Chile that you have talked about, or let's just say the men, are they heard when they go to the doctors, for example, and say, I'm feeling depressed? Are they taken seriously? Have you ever said that to your doctor? Do you have any experience with that?
Yeah, actually, I have. Like I said, before, I think that most men, I don't know if this is a global thing, but probably most men feel that if they ask for help, like you're weak or something like that. So have this mechanism of being strong, and the protector, the provider.
We
all
don't
these.
cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a little girl. Things like
Yeah.
they get so hard into your subconscious mind that you act like that. And
yes, but also we cannot also also that reminds me when you say things like "don't be like a girl." This is also one thing that also kind of angers me, because we use women as an insult.
Yeah.
Or things that women do as an insult, and that is just really bad. Because people should be allowed to cry and show their emotions and all that. And avoiding them of communication will lead to just horrible things like suicide and depression and stuff like this. So we need to take this really seriously. I've asked that question because I've seen it here many times, and this is Europe. I mean, you would think we'd have like better mental health services here or something, but I've heard many people who say, I'm depressed or I can't sleep, and they're just not heard by their doctors. And then at the same time, you have a lot of men also here who have issues, even just identifying the issue of their problem. Like, what is this actually happening to me? Is it depression? Is it stress? We often can't even tell, because we're that shut off from our emotions and from our needs.
Yeah, I think it's so abstract sometimes that it is hard to define what is happening to you, right? Give it like a defined form or a shape, or somehow knowing these. I mean, if you are already in a self, how can I say this? Like a self-discovery path, right? You may know what's happening to you, right? And you may find the reasons why this is happening to you, and then you may act upon that, right? But if you don't have that experience or mechanisms or whatever, it is really hard, because you just feel awful but you don't know what the hell. And as I said at the beginning, like when we did that men's circle, like it was, I don't know, 10 minutes into the conversations and we were all crying. It was like, man, like if you give the people the right space, if they feel safe and they feel heard, right, they will open. And yeah, I can see that why a doctor won't believe or won't act upon this, because most doctors that I've met are just like drug prescriptioners. They are kind of selling me things. They're most of they are, or at least I know they are good doctors. What I've known is that they are trying to selling me their services, not that worried about me, because I don't know. I can tell people, that doctors that have seen me. But I remember when pandemic started, I was working in this telecommunications company, and my work suddenly started being remote work, right? So I stopped seeing everyone. Suddenly I had no friends, because I realized that my friends were circumstantial. We were friends. we were all together. But when pandemic started and I moved my work to my home, that went away. So nobody called me, nothing. It was, I start feeling really lonely. And months passed. Like I think that 4 or 5 months into pandemics here in Chile, I moved from to another apartment, a bigger apartment, and it felt good for a time. But I started having these anxiety and panic attacks in my home. And
Oh no.
really hard. Yeah, it was really hard because, I felt like my work, and I don't know how to explain this because this never happened before. But I felt so bad, and I remember one time out of nowhere, I started like crying, and I had to go into like a baby position, right? Because physically I was getting sick, like. And then what happened was that I met this amazing girl, and she became my girlfriend. And I moved in with her to her place, and we started living together. But this was still within the pandemic, and so this, for a time, these panic attacks went away. But after a year, I started having them again, and they were worst. And this led me to have these. And I'm being really honest and really open here. I started having these violence episodes, and this was really alarming because I am not a violent person. I am conflicting, maybe. I was a very conflicting person, but I wasn't violent, and this was so hard to deal with that I started having this physical violence with things, not with her, but with things, like throwing things and breaking stuff. And that's when I realized this is going really wrong. This is really, really, really wrong. So I searched for help, and I went to a doctor's, to a psychiatrist. And she helped me, really helped me. And this was the first time that I looked for help, like for professional, dedicated
So
help.
just only recently, right, is the first time where you thought, let's look at my mental health.
Exactly. Like before all of this, I never realized that I had those problems, like I wasn't conscious about them, that when we opened that men's circle, I think that it kind of opened like something blocked inside of me, that it began to build. And ultimately I realized that all of this was related to music, actually, because because I realized that all of this frustration that I built through all my life was because I was repressing who I think I really was, like my natural tendency for music and for doing what I love. And I realized that, and I started studying for becoming a music producer. That's what I do now.
Wait,
years.
so what did? So you're only doing this for 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow, but that's amazing.
I mean, I played music since I was started drumming when I was 14. So that was 20 years ago. And I've been a drummer, and I played in several bands, and always with this big dream. I never, I don't know, I played in major gigs as drummer. Like I think I told you, in 2014 I played in a concert with Megadeth. And it was
really, wow.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm playing with, I mean, I wasn't the drummer for Megadeth, but I played in the same gig, you know, like it was like amazing for me, like a highlight. But
this is so interesting because my take, and I'm not a professional, has always been, if we repress who you are, whether it be what you want to do as a, you know, professionally, sexually, socially, if we repress everything what you want to be, then of course you're gonna get angry. And that's not right. Of course you're gonna get frustrated and start to throw shit, especially in a year of a pandemic where it's everything just the world of us is being pulled out of us because everything is just so scary and so weird. Of course it's gonna be weird and horrible. But so it is, your story is wonderful though. It's a beautiful story because you've become the complete repressed self from your environment. May it be, I don't know, socially, because people will do that to us. If you, people are even, I've noticed a lot of times, if you do what you truly want to do in your life and you live your life how you want to live it, people are going to get so jealous and so mad. How dare you be different than us? How dare you? And
yeah,
and this is why
the pack, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We're supposed to be different. No, I mean, but this is why I sent you that poem about the blossoming tree branch.
Hi guys, I'm interrupting the show, the interview, just for context. I will be reading the Bert Hellinger poem on the black sheep of the family tree. So here it goes. The so-called black sheep of the family are, in fact, hunters born of paths of liberation into the family tree. The members of a tree who do not conform to the norms of traditions of the family system, those who since childhood have constantly sought to revolutionize beliefs going against the paths marked by family traditions, those criticized, judged, and even rejected, these are usually called to free the tree of repetitive stories that frustrate entire generations. The black sheep, those who do not adapt, those who cry rebelliously, play a basic role within each family system. They repair, pick up, and create new and unfold branches in the family tree. Thanks to these members, our trees renew their roots. Its rebellion is fertile soil. Its madness is water that nourishes. Its stubbornness is new air. Its passion is fire that reignites the light of the heart of the ancestors. Unaccountable repressed desires, unfulfilled dreams, the frustrated talents of our ancestors are manifested in the rebelliousness of these black sheep seeking fulfillment. The genealogical tree, by inertia, will want to continue to maintain the castrating and toxic course of its trunk, which makes the task of our sheep a difficult and conflicting work. However, who would bring new flowers to our tree if it were not for them? Who would create new branches? Without them, unfulfilled dreams of those who support the tree generations ago would die buried beneath their own roots. Let no one cause you to doubt. Take care of your rarity as the most precious flower of your tree. You are the dream of all your ancestors. That was from Bert Hellinger. And so now we return to the interview.
The idea, the poem talks about the family tree and that certain people who rebel against these really mundane family structures and ideas and also how to live, those people are like really the flower in the branches that really make a tree beautiful. And this type of energy, this type of life and spirit also will help I also see this not only as a tree for the family, but also a tree in society. Because where would society be without the people who are trying to talk about serious things, like you did with the men's circle for mental health? Like, that is important. That is not something that we can, at least in my book, that is not something that we should not have. We need that in society, and we need to talk about this as we learn more about mental health, and we get, that's, and I think that's great. But yeah, I was wondering, just on a lighter note, personally, musically, something about your life that, so the idea is something that most people don't know about you. It can be anything random. I'll start as an example from my life, because we were talking about media. I'm not really behind it. Well, funnily enough, in 2016, someone had stolen all my pictures and created a page under my own name. So there were 2 pages of my name, and someone sent me this page and said, "This is you?" And I'm like, "No, this is not. Let me check." It's that had my name, my pictures, and over 5,000 likes or something. This person was actually using my picture and my pictures and my life to make a successful Facebook page, and I still don't have one. So
that's weird.
That is weird. And I was like, "Well, Facebook, I know you're going to take this down, but could I have page?" Weird stuff. I don't even know if this was someone. Oh, wow, everything's breaking here. Sorry about that. Yeesh. No, still not doing it. Hang on.
No worries.
Oh, even the dog is getting up now. What was I saying? I'm sorry. Crap, I forgot what I was saying.
The fake Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, the face. I mean, I thought that was so weird, and I was popular. People were writing, and there was really engagement. I'm like, what the hell? That is such a weird thing, and so random. But yeah, so that page doesn't exist anymore. So I'm carrying the work of my unsuccessful page. So yeah, and what is there something random about your life that people don't know? Whatever you want, funny or sorry,
like a secret.
No, not necessarily a secret, just some like a fun fact about you.
All right. When I was in college, I got to be like a political activist.
Oh yeah.
So really into that, and we actually did pretty good. I almost became like the budget administrator for the student. How would you call this in English? It was like the
student board.
Yeah, exactly, the student board.
Oh wow, nice. So essentially, what this meant, even if back then you were maybe not quite yourself because people wouldn't let you, you still kind of, there was things showing, right, about your personality and who you are, and you are someone who makes a change.
Yeah,
like
I think that
with the
I'm sorry. I was gonna say that yeah, I can see that there are some things about people that are like core traits, right? That maybe your whole surface can change, your habits can change, but there's something behind that is like permanent, right? And I can see that core through, like, if you see yourself without time, right? Like if you see yourself all your life instantaneously, all together, you can see that there are some things that haven't changed like ever. Like, let's say that for art, that is a core trait. A tendency for being, I think that I have this tendency for being a leader. So wherever I go, in like this comes to me natural, to trying to lead people, or maybe, maybe by ways weren't right, like imposing ideas and such, but I've always did it because I thought it was the best for everyone, right? Like, and so these are core traits, I think.
So traits, but also values, right?
Yeah, like values like these are timeless. They are, and they will not depend on any circumstance. Like, wherever you go, you bring those with you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, for people who have values, not many people have values.
Everyone has, just maybe some of them have them very buried into these, like you are playing like a character, right? On your life, you can change that character, and so maybe your character is about hiding those values, because maybe you are naturally, oriented to helping people, but maybe you are so hurt by people that no, you repress that. So your personality, I am an angry person, I don't like anyone, blah blah. But the thing is still there, and your intuition will fight with you, and you will feel the conflict of, maybe I should have helped that person. No, I'm, like.
Yes, and that is also, it sounds also like, we should know, we should reflect on how we act towards others, and a little bit, right? That is part of it, I think, if you have values. You talked at the beginning of this segment that you discovered Hooked, and you came towards me and talked about Hooked, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And you play the drums, and so you did the drums for Hooked, and I thought this would be a fantastic moment. The way it sounds with your real drums, I think it does sound very different, especially Andrei has mastered it in a way that it really sounds like a band playing together, and I love that. But I'm really even more excited about the new track, to send it to you and see what we do with that. But I can't say much about it yet. But so I hope that everyone loves your drums on the new, and I hope that they will leave comments and rate about it, and I think, because I think it's really good. I mean, it sounds so crisp. I feel the beats in my chest when listening to it, and it's really exciting. So thank you for that. That's amazing.
Drive, you make me lose control, you make me slip and slide, you change me the way you want, you make me go for a dive, you hold my head underwater, you make me go for a dive. Cause life inside of me. You make me slip and fall. You take full control. You change me the way you need, the way you need. Yeah, I didn't know you were a hook. I didn't know you were a hooker. I didn't know you get me hooked. I didn't know you were a hooker. I'm still hooked on a hooker named Hook. She said, read this book. She has a rifle. I'm still stoned about you, baby. I'm still hooked on a hooker named Hook. She doesn't even know my name. Yeah, she doesn't even know. She doesn't know. She said, read this book. She has a rifle. I'm still stoned about you, baby. I'm still hooked on a hooker named Hook. She doesn't even know my name. Yeah, I'm still hooked on a hooker named Hook. She said, read this book. She has a rifle. I'm still stoned about you, baby. There ain't this many bitches at the dog show.
Lots
Yeah.
of things to come. And let's meet up together again soon, and maybe talk more about music, or maybe talk about mental health, whatever you want to talk about. And also, if there's anything that maybe you want to continue talking about from today, we can also do that. So, anything.
Yeah. First, I want to thank you for the space. I think that it is nice to have a space where you can be honest and practice that honesty. You know,
Oh yeah.
in a very healthy way, because there's a saying that honesty without empathy is just cruelty. Have you
Oh
heard that?
wow. I've never heard that, but I love it already.
Yeah,
That is
so
awesome. Wow.
and I think that maybe for closing all this segment and this interview, that I really
Mhm.
appreciate, and it is my pleasure working with talented people like you and being a contribution to art and music. Like, I think that that's my mission, and I know it because I found it. And I could say maybe something to people is that if you can find that, the answer of your purpose is always within yourself, so you must explore yourself, and you have this power. All people have this infinite intelligence inside them, residing inside them, right? The same intelligence that heals your body when you hurt, or or makes you put clothes when it's cold, and control all your heartbeats and such. The same intelligence knows what you are meant to do. So if you can connect with that, some people call intuition, right? And then you will be one step out of depression and frustration. So I think that is the real mechanism. Like, if you were to take a person away from an addiction like alcoholism, people don't need drugs for getting rid of an addiction. People need adventure. People need purpose. That is what gets people out of addiction. And so
Also,
that's
yes, and so, yeah, sorry, but something really important about addiction is that it is often linked to abuse. So it's also important, if you find the adventure that your life, or that life is destined to you according to your heart and your soul, it is also important to get out of that abuse. in order for that flower to grow, because you can't. This is also a thing that you know, in this society where there's so much bullying and toxic behaviors, also in families. If I don't push you as a human being, if I don't want your best, if I don't have your best interests at heart as my friend, then why am I even calling myself a friend, right? Imagine everyone wanting everyone else to succeed on this planet. Imagine if everyone were like that.
Yeah, and you can be like, if you know this, then you can, like what we were saying, that if I notice that there are no such safe places for men, then I'm responsible for creating them, and I feel that way. So if one of my friends needs to be heard, I listen to them, and I can do that, and I can bear their problems without making them personal. You know, like, I think that maybe I'm getting a little ahead again on this, but one of the worst things that we can do as people, and that this is a mechanism that almost everyone has, is trying to solve other people's lives. Like, if I tell you a problem, people are always giving me solutions. No, what you have to do is this, or what, and you don't need that. If you just need to be validated. Like, I'm having this experience is real for me, so I just wanted to be heard, and you empathize with me, not solve that, because you won't solve it. And so every time that people give me or gave me, because this is now, it doesn't bother me because I know this, but every time that I told something and people gave me solutions, it was like telling me that you're so dumb that you can realize that this is the solution. So it was like invalidating. It is worst, actually.
Oh, yeah, because that could be re-traumatizing if I treat you that way, right?
Exactly.
And also, this brings me to a thought. As you were talking, I was thinking, yeah, what we need is a set of ears listening with a good heart, and not a smart ass. That's what we need.
Yeah, you said it.
And it's not that hard to provide that. I think it's the bare minimum, I think, to listen with a heart and not be a smart ass. But that's the issue often. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's not bad, you're overreacting, all these gaslighting bullshit things that I don't believe in. So I will never treat anyone like that. So if you ever want to talk with me, also besides the recording, I'm also here for you, just as a friend also.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.